First Contact Initiative. Commander Sarah Chen stared at the anomalous readings flooding her neural display as the UNSS Hawking maintained its silent vigil near Neptune's orbit. The quantum sensors had picked up something impossible, a distortion pattern that didn't match any known human or natural phenomenon. "Dr. Rodriguez, are you seeing this?" She called out to her chief scientist, her fingers dancing through the holographic controls to enhance the scan resolution. "Yes, Commander. Whatever it is, it's operating on principles we've barely theorized about. The energy signature suggests some kind of, well, I hesitate to even say it." Miguel Rodriguez's dark eyes were wide as he studied his own displays. "Say it anyway, Doctor. We're beyond protocol today. It looks like a dimensional fold drive, Commander. Someone out there has figured out how to bend space-time without quantum tunneling." Sarah felt her heart rate spike, but years of deep space command kept her voice steady. "Contact Fleet Command. Priority Alpha." "Ma'am," Lieutenant Park's voice cut through the tension. "The anomaly is intensifying. I'm detecting what appears to be a distress pattern in the energy fluctuations. It's mathematical. Prime numbers, repeating in sequence." Sarah straightened in her command chair. Humanity had long theorized that mathematics would be the universal language of first contact. Now that theory was about to be tested. "Show me." The main display lit up with a cascading sequence of energy pulses. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. There was no doubt about it. This was intelligent communication. "Fleet Command acknowledges, Commander," Communications Officer John reported. Their response: "Proceed with caution. First Contact Protocol Echo 7 authorized. You are go for intercept." Sarah took a deep breath. Echo 7 was the protocol everyone trained for, but nobody ever expected to use. Humanity's first official contact with an alien civilization would happen here, billions of kilometers from Earth, with her crew of 157, carrying the hopes and responsibilities of their entire species. "Helm, plot an intercept course. Keep us at minimum safe distance according to Echo 7 parameters. Dr. Rodriguez, prepare the quantum translation matrix. If they're broadcasting in math, let's respond in kind." As the Hawking's engines hummed to life, the anomaly resolved itself into something that made every crew member on the bridge catch their breath. A ship, if you could call it that. It looked more like a living crystal lattice wrapped in streams of purple energy. And it was massive, easily 3 times the size of their vessel. "Broadcasting response sequence," Rodriguez announced, adding Fibonacci numbers to acknowledge receipt and demonstrate pattern recognition. Minutes ticked by as they waited for a response. Sarah used the time to study the alien vessel. Its crystalline structure seemed to pulse with internal light, but there were clear signs of damage. Dark patches marred its otherwise perfect geometry, and the energy streams surrounding it flickered erratically. "Commander," Park's voice was urgent. "The vessel is projecting some kind of... It's hard to describe. It looks like a quantum hologram, but the resolution is incredible." The bridge's main holofield sparkled to life, and Sarah found herself looking at beings that defied easy description. They appeared to be partly crystalline themselves, with translucent bodies that shifted colors as they moved. Their form was vaguely humanoid, but with multiple limbs that seemed to phase in and out of visibility. One of the beings stepped forward, its body pulsing with patterns that the translation matrix quickly identified as another mathematical sequence. But this time, it was accompanied by something else, geometric shapes that the computer began processing into language. "Translation matrix is adapting," Rodriguez reported, his fingers flying over his controls. "They're using a base 12 mathematical language combined with geometric syntax. It's beautiful in its complexity." The alien's message began to resolve into words. "Greetings, beings of the quantum vessel. We are the crystalline collective of the Nexus Confluence. Our ship has suffered catastrophic damage to its dimensional matrix. We request aid, if you are capable of providing it. We offer knowledge in exchange for assistance." Sarah stood, her mind racing through the implications. The alien vessel's technology was clearly far beyond Earth's current capabilities. Helping them could provide humanity with advances that might otherwise take centuries to develop. But the risks were equally enormous. Dr. Rodriguez, what's your assessment of their condition? Their power signature is destabilizing, Commander. Whatever they use for a drive system is experiencing some kind of cascade failure. I estimate they have maybe 12 hours before total system collapse. Sarah nodded. The choice was clear. Open a channel. Let's show them what humanity can do. She stepped forward, standing tall as the translation matrix prepared to convert her words into the aliens' mathematical language. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the United Nations Science Ship Hawking. We stand ready to assist. Please share your technical specifications so we can begin coordinating rescue operations. As the message was transmitted, Sarah couldn't help but smile. Humanity's first contact wouldn't be marked by fear or conflict, but by an opportunity to help. Sometimes the bravest thing you could do was extend a hand in friendship, even if that hand was reaching across the vast gulf between stars. The response came quickly, carrying with it complex technical data that made Rodriguez gasp in appreciation. The mission to save the alien vessel would push human technology and ingenuity to its limits and beyond. But as Sarah looked at her crew's determined faces, she knew they were ready for the challenge. The next 12 hours would change everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. Impossible engineering. Dr. Miguel Rodriguez stood in the Hawking's engineering bay, his mind struggling to process the holographic schematics floating before him. The crystalline beings, who called themselves the Nexus, had transmitted the complete technical specifications of their vessel's dimensional fold drive. What he saw both thrilled and terrified him. This shouldn't be possible, he muttered, manipulating the hologram with practiced gestures. They're not just folding space-time, they're weaving it like fabric. Beside him, the Nexus engineer, a being who had introduced itself as resonance of truth, pulsed with patterns that the translation matrix interpreted as agreement. Your understanding is surprisingly acute. The dimensional matrices require perfect harmony to maintain stability. Our primary resonance crystal suffered damage during an unexpected gravitational anomaly. Chief Engineer Maya Patel circled the hologram, her cybernetic eyes rapidly processing the alien technology. The principles aren't entirely foreign. It's like they took our quantum field manipulation theories and evolved them by centuries. We might not be able to replicate their tech, but we can definitely interface with it. Sarah Chen watched from the doorway, letting her technical team work. The clock was ticking. 10 hours remained before the Nexus ship systems would collapse completely. She'd already ordered the Hawking's quantum core to run at maximum capacity, feeding power to the alien vessel's failing systems, but it was like trying to fill an ocean with a garden hose. Commander, Maya turned to her, excitement visible in her glowing cybernetic eyes. I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work. At this point, Chief, crazy is acceptable. What are you thinking? Their dimensional fold drive works by manipulating the fabric of space-time through crystalline resonance. Our quantum core generates fields that affect subatomic particles. If we can synchronize the frequencies. She paused, looking at the alien engineer. Resonance of truth. Could your crystals handle a quantum field overlay? The crystalline being's colors shifted through complex patterns as it considered the proposal. Unprecedented. Dangerous. But theoretically sound. The mathematical harmony suggests compatibility. Rodriguez's fingers flew over his console as he ran simulations. If we modify our core's emission frequency to match their crystalline resonance, we could stabilize their matrix long enough for repairs. But we'd have to rebuild our entire quantum field generator. The tolerances would be impossible. Sarah smiled. That's never stopped us before. How long? Maya was already calling up equipment schematics. 6 hours if we stripped down the secondary core. We'd be running on emergency power, but we could do it. Your species continues to surprise us. Resonance of truth pulsed. Such rapid adaptation to unknown principles. Such willingness to risk your own systems to aid others. Sarah stepped forward, studying the complex diagrams. That's who we are. Humanity has always pushed boundaries, especially when others need our help. Maya, you have authorization to begin modifications. Dr. Rodriguez, coordinate with our guests on the frequency harmonics. The next 6 hours became a blur of activity. The Hawking's engineering bay transformed into a hybrid workshop where human and alien technologies merged in ways that defied conventional physics. Maya's team worked with remarkable precision, disassembling and rebuilding their quantum core, while Rodriguez and Resonance of Truth calculated the exact frequencies needed for synchronization. Sarah watched in amazement as her crew adapted to working alongside the crystalline beings. Despite their alien nature, a natural rhythm developed between the species. Humans' intuitive problem-solving complemented the Nexus' precise mathematical approach. Commander, Maya's voice carried both exhaustion and triumph. Primary modifications are complete. We're ready to begin power transfer calibration. The rebuilt quantum core hummed with an odd harmonic note that seemed to resonate with the crystalline structure of their alien guests. Resonance of Truth's body pulsed with what the translation matrix identified as anticipation and hope. The mathematical harmony is beautiful, the alien engineer observed. Your species' ability to improvise while maintaining precision is remarkable. We had not considered such adaptations possible. Sarah took her position at the primary control station. That's another thing about humans, Resonance of Truth. We don't always follow the expected path. Sometimes the best solutions come from breaking conventional rules. Initiating quantum field synchronization, Maya announced. Beginning frequency match in 3, 2, 1. The Hawking's lights dimmed as power diverted to the modified core. On the main display, energy patterns from both ships began to align, merging into something entirely new. The crystalline beings pulsed with bright colors as their ship systems responded to the hybrid power source. Matrix stability increasing, Rodriguez reported, his voice tight with concentration. The quantum crystal resonance is holding. Their dimensional fold drive is accepting our power transfer. For a moment, everyone held their breath. Then Resonance of Truth flared with brilliant colors. Success. The primary matrix is stabilizing. Repair protocols are engaging. You have done the impossible. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. No, we've just redefined what's possible. Maya, status of our systems. Running on minimal power, but stable. We can maintain this configuration for the time needed to complete their repairs. Excellent work, everyone. Sarah turned to Resonance of Truth. Now, while your ship repairs itself, perhaps we can discuss some of those knowledge exchanges you mentioned. I believe both our species have much to learn from each other. The alien engineer's crystalline form sparkled with what could only be described as joy. Indeed, Commander Chen, your species has earned more than mere technical knowledge. The Nexus Confluence will remember this day. Humanity has proved itself worthy of full alliance status. As her crew continued monitoring the power transfer, Sarah reflected on how much had changed in less than a day. Humanity had not only made first contact, but had solved an engineering challenge that should have been centuries beyond their capability. And they had done it not through conflict or competition, but through cooperation and innovation. The universe, it seemed, had just become a much more interesting place. Cultural exchange. The observation deck of the UNSS Hawking had never hosted such an extraordinary gathering. Commander Sarah Chen sat across from the Nexus delegation, the stars of deep space providing a backdrop through the reinforced viewport. The crystalline beings had arranged themselves in what they called a resonance pattern, their translucent forms creating complex geometric shapes that somehow felt both alien and familiar. Your species approaches knowledge differently than any we have encountered, proclaimed Harmony of Wisdom, the lead researcher of the Nexus vessel. Its form shifted through shades of blue and purple as it spoke. Where we seek perfect mathematical harmony, you embrace chaos and intuition. Yet somehow, You achieve results that our most precise calculations fail to predict." Sarah smiled, gesturing to Dr. Rodriguez, who sat beside her. "We've learned that sometimes the best discoveries come from unexpected directions. Our history is full of accidental breakthroughs that led to revolutionary advances." Accidental. Pattern of logic, another Nexus scientist, pulsed with what the translation matrix identified as confusion. "Your technological progress relies on accidents." "Not entirely," Rodriguez explained, pulling up a holographic display of human scientific history. "But we've learned to recognize opportunity in unexpected results. Take quantum tunneling. We discovered it while trying to solve a completely different problem in particle physics." The Nexus beings vibrated in their equivalent of animated discussion. Their crystalline forms created interference patterns that danced across the deck ceiling. Lieutenant Park, who had been quietly observing, leaned forward. "I'm curious about your mathematics. You seem to use a base 12 system naturally. Is that related to your crystalline structure?" Harmony of Wisdom's form brightened. "Perceptive. Yes, our physical form resonates with duodecimal harmony. Yet you use base 10, despite its mathematical inefficiencies. Why?" "Because we have 10 fingers," Sarah said with a laugh. "Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one." The translation matrix took a moment to process the concept of humor, but when it did, the Nexus beings pulsed with their own version of amusement, a spectacular-like show that rippled through their forms. "Perhaps this explains your species' remarkable adaptability," Resonance of Truth offered. "You build your science around your physical reality, rather than attempting to conform to abstract mathematical perfection." Mayapoto, who had joined them after completing another check of the power transfer systems, nodded. "We've always been practical problem solvers. When something doesn't work, we try another approach. It's not always elegant, but it gets results." "Like your solution to our dimensional fold crisis," Pattern of Logic acknowledged. "You created a functional integration of quantum and crystalline technologies in ours. Our simulations suggested such a merger would require decades of research." "Sometimes not knowing something is impossible makes it possible," Sarah replied. "We've learned that limitations often exist primarily in our minds." The conversation shifted to deeper topics as both species shared their perspectives on consciousness, society, and the nature of existence itself. The Nexus beings described their collective consciousness, how their crystalline forms could merge and separate while maintaining individual identity. In return, the humans explained their concepts of individual consciousness and emotional bonds. "Your emotions," Harmony of Wisdom observed, "they seem chaotic, yet they drive you to achieve remarkable things. Our logical perfection would have calculated the risks of helping us as too great, yet you acted without hesitation." "Empathy is as much a part of human nature as logic," Sarah explained. "We understood you needed help, and we have the capacity to provide it. The decision wasn't just logical, it was right." This combination of emotion and intellect, Pattern of Logic pulsed thoughtfully. It creates possibilities we had not considered. Perhaps perfect mathematical harmony is not the only path to understanding the universe. As the exchange continued, both species found themselves reevaluating their assumptions about life and intelligence. The humans learned about the Nexus Confluence's vast network of crystalline worlds, each resonating in harmony with the others. The Nexus beings, in turn, were fascinated by human art, music, and literature, concepts they had never considered as paths to knowledge. "Commander," Harmony of Wisdom's form shifted to a formal configuration. "The Confluence must know of this meeting. Your species offers perspectives that could revolutionize our understanding of existence itself. Would you consent to establishing permanent diplomatic relations?" Sarah felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about saving one ship anymore. It was about changing the future for both species. "I would need to consult with Earth's governments, but speaking personally, I believe such an exchange would benefit us all." "Then let this be the beginning," Resonance of Truth declared, its form blazing with brilliant light. The merging of crystal and quantum, of logic and intuition, of mathematics and emotion. Together, we may discover truths neither of us could find alone. As Sarah looked around the observation deck at her crew interacting with the Nexus beings, she saw the future taking shape. Human engineers were already discussing potential applications of crystalline technology, while the Nexus scientists eagerly studied human artistic expressions. Two fundamentally different approaches to understanding the universe, finding unexpected harmony in their differences. The stars beyond the viewport seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging the momentous nature of this exchange. Humanity had not only made first contact, they had found kindred spirits in the vast expanse of space, proving once again that the greatest discoveries come from reaching beyond the boundaries of the known. Crisis point. Emergency in engineering. Maya's voice cut through the calm of the observation deck like a plasma torch. Commander Chin to the engine room immediately. Sarah was already moving before the announcement finished, the Nexus delegation flowing alongside her in a stream of worried light patterns. When they reached engineering, the sight stopped them cold. The hybrid power transfer system was surrounded by crackling energy fields, the quantum core pulsing with an ominous rhythm that made the deck plates vibrate. Status report, Sarah commanded, watching Maya's team scramble around the failing equipment. The quantum crystalline resonance is destabilizing, Maya explained, her cybernetic eyes flickering as they processed data streams. The power transfer created some kind of feedback loop we didn't anticipate. It's affecting both ships now. Resonance of truth moved forward, its crystalline form analyzing the energy patterns. The dimensional frequencies are cascading. If this continues, both vessels will be drawn into a quantum fold collapse. In English, Sarah demanded, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Both ships will be torn apart at the subatomic level, Rodriguez translated, his fingers dancing across multiple control interfaces. The very fabric of space-time around us is becoming unstable. Time to total system failure. Sarah's voice remained steady, though her mind raced through options. 17 minutes, Maya reported grimly. Standard emergency protocols won't work. We're too deeply linked with their systems now. Attempting to separate would trigger immediate collapse. Sarah watched the energy patterns swirling around them, remembering something from their earlier cultural exchange. Resonance of truth. You mentioned your species can merge consciousness through crystalline resonance. Could we use that principle here? The alien engineer's form brightened with sudden understanding. Yes. We could create a unified field, merge the ship's systems completely instead of fighting the feedback. That's insane, Rodriguez protested, then caught himself. But no more insane than what we've already done. The power requirements would be astronomical. We'll have to jump both ships together, Maya added, already calculating. A synchronized quantum fold transit to the nearest safe harbor, Earth's orbital shipyard. Has anyone ever attempted a dual-ship quantum jump before? Sarah asked, knowing the answer. No one has ever attempted anything like this, harmony of wisdom pulsed. The mathematical complexity alone. Then we'll be the first, Sarah decided. Maya, prepare for full system integration. Rodriguez, plot the jump coordinates. I'll inform the crew. As her team rushed to implement her orders, Sarah activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the commander. Prepare for emergency quantum fold jump in 15 minutes. This will not be a standard transit. We're attempting something unprecedented. Secure all stations and trust in your training. The next 14 minutes were a blur of controlled chaos. The Hawking systems were merged even more deeply with the Nexus vessel, creating a single, unified field that encompassed both ships. The crystalline beings linked their consciousness to form a living guidance system, while human engineers pushed their quantum technology far beyond its designed limits. Field merger complete, Maya reported, her voice tense. Power levels at maximum sustainable threshold. Crystalline resonance achieved. Resonance of truth pulsed. Our consciousness network is synchronized with your quantum field. Jump coordinates locked, Rodriguez added. Earth control is clearing orbital space around the shipyard. They think we're crazy, by the way. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. They're probably right. Status of the feedback cascade. 3 minutes to critical failure, Maya answered. It's now or never, Commander. Sarah took a deep breath, looking around at her crew and their alien allies. Human and Nexus, quantum and crystalline, logic and intuition, all working in perfect harmony despite the impossibility of their situation. Initiate jump sequence, she ordered. Let's make history. The universe seemed to hold its breath as the combined ship's systems spooled up for the jump. Energy fields twisted in impossible ways as quantum mechanics and crystalline resonance merged into something entirely new. The very fabric of space-time began to fold around them, guided by the unified consciousness of the Nexus beings and the precise calculations of human computers. Field collapse imminent, Maya shouted over the rising hum of power. Jump in 3. Rodriguez began the countdown, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. 2, 1. Reality twisted. The stars stretched into infinite lines of light as two technologies, never meant to work together, tore a hole in the universe itself. Every crew member felt the impossible sensation of existing in multiple places at once as the quantum fold transit carried them across the solar system. For a moment that felt like eternity, the combined ships hung in a space between spaces, neither here nor there, held together only by the determination of their crews and the perfect harmony of their merged systems. Then, with a flash that briefly outshone the sun, they emerged in Earth orbit. The massive orbital shipyard loomed before them, its emergency crews already moving to assist. Status, Sarah managed to ask as reality reasserted itself. Both ships intact, Maya reported, sounding amazed. Power systems stabilizing. The feedback cascade, it's gone. The jump somehow reset the quantum crystalline resonance. We have achieved something unprecedented, harmony of wisdom pulsed with excitement, a perfect merger of our technologies, guided by both mathematical precision and human intuition. As emergency teams from the shipyard began docking procedures, Sarah looked out at the blue-green world below them. Humanity had just proven themselves capable of not just adapting to advanced alien technology, but of pushing it beyond its creator's imagination. Well done, everyone, she said simply, knowing no other words could capture the magnitude of what they'd accomplished. Welcome to Earth. Legacy of Two Worlds. 1 month after the unprecedented quantum fold jump, Earth's orbital shipyard had become a symbol of interstellar cooperation. The massive crystalline vessel of the Nexus hung in synchronous orbit alongside human ships, its once damaged structure now gleaming with restored perfection. But the real transformation was happening inside the station's main research center. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation window, watching teams of human and Nexus scientists working together in the newly established Joint Technology Integration Lab. The sight of crystalline beings floating alongside humans in specialized environmental suits had become almost normal. The quantum crystalline drive tests exceeded all projections, Maya reported, joining her commander at the window. Her cybernetic eyes had been upgraded with crystalline interfaces, allowing her to directly perceive the Nexus beings' complex mathematical communications. We're looking at a revolutionary breakthrough in propulsion technology. The Confluence Council is experiencing unprecedented excitement, harmony of wisdom pulsed from behind them. Your species' ability to innovate has sparked what you might call a renaissance among our people. Many are now questioning our traditional adherence to pure mathematical perfection. Sarah turned to face the alien diplomat, noting how its crystalline form had adopted subtle human-like mannerisms over the past weeks. And how do you feel about that? Change. Harmony of Wisdom replied simply. We thought we understood the universe through perfect mathematical harmony. You showed us that imperfection, intuition, and adaptation can lead to even greater discoveries. The synchronized jump proved that. Dr. Rodriguez emerged from the lab, his tablet displaying complex equations that merged quantum mechanics with crystalline resonance patterns. The data from the jump has revolutionized our understanding of spacetime. We're not just looking at faster travel between stars. We're discovering new principles of reality itself. The human capacity for lateral thinking continues to astonish. Pattern of logic added, its form shifting through analytical configurations. You see connections we would never consider, simply because you are not bound by our preconceptions of what is possible. Sarah watched as another test of the hybrid drive sent ripples of energy through the lab's containment field. The merged technology was already more efficient than either species' original systems. Have you received word from the Confluence about the proposed exchange program? Approved unanimously. Harmony of wisdom pulsed with joy. The first group of human scientists will be welcomed to our crystalline worlds within the next solar cycle. In return, we will send resonance teachers to your academic institutions. And the defense implications? Sarah asked, ever mindful of her responsibilities as a military commander. The Confluence has voted to share our defensive technologies. Pattern of logic confirmed. Your handling of first contact demonstrated both wisdom and compassion. We trust humanity to use our knowledge responsibly. Maya's cybernetic eyes flickered as she processed new data. The prototype hybrid ships are ready for their first trial runs. We've had to turn away volunteers. Everyone wants to be part of the first human Nexus joint cruise. Sarah smiled, remembering the chaos and uncertainty of that first encounter near Neptune. Who could have predicted that an emergency rescue would lead to such profound changes for both civilizations? The universe is vast. Resonance of truth added, joining them at the window. But perhaps it was not mere chance that brought our ships together. Your quantum physics suggests that all possibilities exist simultaneously until observed. Perhaps the universe itself recognized the potential of our species working together. A poetic notion, Sarah replied. Though I suspect Dr. Rodriguez would prefer a more mathematical explanation. That's what's fascinating, Rodriguez interjected, looking up from his calculations. The mathematics actually support both interpretations. The quantum crystalline resonance patterns we recorded during the jump, they suggest a level of universal harmony we're only beginning to understand. Outside the window, Earth turned slowly beneath them, its blue-white swirls of cloud reflecting the sun's light. Somewhere out there, beyond the solar system's edge, the vast network of crystalline worlds awaited human visitors. And here, in orbit, humanity's first steps into a larger galactic community were already bearing fruit. We came together in crisis, Sarah mused, watching human and Nexus teams prepare for another drive test. But we're staying together by choice, because both our species recognize that we're stronger together than apart. A most elegant equation, harmony of wisdom agreed. The sum of our differences multiplied by cooperation equals progress neither of us could achieve alone. The hybrid drive test activated, creating a miniature display of what had saved both ships during their desperate jump. But now, instead of an emergency measure, it represented the future, a perfect blend of human innovation and Nexus precision, of quantum science and crystalline harmony. As Sarah watched the energy patterns dance across the lab's containment field, she realized that this was just the beginning. Humanity had not only reached the stars, they had found their place among them. Not through conquest or competition, but through cooperation, creativity, and the simple act of offering help to those in need. The legacy of that first contact would ripple through both civilizations for generations to come, proving that the greatest discoveries often come not from careful planning, but from the unexpected moments when different ways of thinking collide and create something entirely new. In the end, it wasn't just about the technology they had created together. It was about the barriers they had broken down, the assumptions they had challenged, and the friendships they had forged across the vast gulf between stars. Human and Nexus, quantum and crystalline, logic and intuition, all working in harmony to build a future neither species could have imagined alone.